Hi, this is Money Gossip with Amos Ngahu. I have seen a lot of people asking about agriculture, and I'm really not an expert in agriculture, but I'll give you a story. A while ago, I decided to plant a few things in those plots that you buy and you haven't built. And what happened is that over time, you're just being asked to buy this, buy this, buy this, but when you look at the final product, there's nothing really that you're accumulating. You've not even broken even because you're running the agriculture business remotely. Then I came across this guy who was telling me, why don't you, every time your bananas are ready, I come for them at this price, all of them. But little did I know that this guy has a ready market, and he had grown his demand, so he was having a shortage. And the guy was selling them for double the price I was selling to him. So actually, being the farmer, I was making much, much less because I even had more costs. And the challenge today with us is we don't have, or we are focusing so much on the capital that we need to invest, and we're not focusing on the market. And I feel like a lot of business should be built that way, that you'd rather have that good problem of a huge demand that you cannot be able to supply than having a lot of supply that you cannot be able to sell. So the challenge is, as you look at agriculture, don't just look at capital. Okay? I have seen that guy grow, and I was almost thinking of, you know what, I need to break ties with him so that I look for my own market. But the challenge is, in whatever business you're doing, business is not capital. Business is an idea. Execute, then you can be able to do what we call backward integration, getting rid of the guys behind you and going all the way to the farming, and also forward integrate so that you remove middlemen and get your own market. So I think that's food for thought today. Thanks. Hi, this is Money Gossip. Amos Ngahu here. Now, in the African setting, is the only setup whereby a poor man's greeting is normally misunderstood for begging. And there are so many of us who, started our business. We know what we are doing. We believe in what we are doing. We believe it's a calling. But we normally get discouraged because the people who we thought would help us got other options. And with the people who we thought would stick by us, they got other better deals. And the thing is, if you're an entrepreneur, the most important thing that you need to believe in is what you're doing. And especially if you've built it over time and it's bearing results. And I'll tell you what, some of your best business customers, some of your best deals, right now you don't even know where they will come from, but they will come. And a lot of them will be from strangers. So don't try to get approval from anybody, whether they are ahead of you or whether they're influencers. Don't try to do that. It will frustrate you. Just be consistent. Build your brand. Build whatever you need to do, and something will give in. And don't get discouraged. And you will be shocked that even discouragement can come from the closest circles. People who you think have you. People who you think have your back. And I'm even talking about best friends. I'm talking even about spouses. But you cannot fail to believe in your stuff. Because at the end of the day, and this is what keeps me going, someone out there is waiting for a solution from me. Just remember that someone is waiting for that solution, and they will pay for it. And they will be transformed. So stay focused and be consistent. That's your gossip for today. Hi guys. Remember when we talked about black tax? And we really don't want to cut out people from our lives. We just want to monitor what we are given. But I'm thinking we can actually take it a notch higher. Do you realize that it's not your friends from Nairobi or from whichever city you come from that will dig your grave? It's actually the village guys. And I've realized that one of the things that you can do is empower them in terms of information and their way of thinking. I was at the village about 2 days ago, and they harvest once a year. They can't even trace their costs. You ask them, how much do you make in a year? They have no idea. And that's why even when you send them money, they will always be wanting more because they don't have a way of organizing themselves. And I'm thinking, instead of sending them money, let's be creative. Think of something that is trending today. I've seen there's a lot of demand for avocados. Why don't you invest? Spare one weekend's, worth of sherehe. Take that 5K, buy a few trees, for avocado and plant with, show them how to plant and make them feel responsible for them. Because 10 years from now, they will always talk about your praise. But you give them that 5,000 now, come 6 months from now and you're going back again. They will not remember the 5K, but they will remember the trees. So why don't we take that challenge and just empower people? Because for me, it would be very embarrassing if my people, or even where I come from, they're all struggling financially and I'm there. The thing is, hawapotei nikiwa. Just take a challenge and try to challenge them as well. That's all for today. Hi, welcome to Money Gossip. This is Amos Ngahu. You guys remember the story I told you about a small house that I had moved into? And it was outside town, and it was a place where you had fresh air and you'd run in the morning. So in one of the mornings, when I was coming back, it's early, it's around 6:30. I come across these two guys, a lady and a man, and you could tell they've come from the same house. The guy is wearing gumboots or Wellington boots, and he's carrying a spade. And the wife was walking with him and giving him a push to the near the road. And I saw something special. I really admired that. And I saw a guy who he was actually hugged to work. And I don't know why, I just smiled. I thought that was really nice. And it hit me that even you have millions of people, admiring something you have. There's someone in hospital, who would want a pain-free life that like you have. There's someone in prison who would wish he had your freedom. So guys, as we walk around, as we hustle, let's remember that sometimes it's not about the money. It's about that contentment. It's about you getting to a place in life whereby not everything is working your way, but at least something is working. So today, just take time to appreciate what is working as you dream to do better in it. And remember, just always remember, you have something that someone is looking forward to have. And that's your gossip for today. Hi, this is Amos Ngahu, Money Gossip. Well, I remember a while ago when some companies were introducing their shares to the public. That's what we call an IPO. I remember there was this hype, let's buy the shares, they're going to grow. And these are some of the very, very, very strong companies we have today in the market. So what happened? The IPO, the initial public offer, was offered at a certain amount. But someone was lending money to buy shares. So what does Amos do? He's so excited to make money, he gets an extra loan. And what happens after the purchase? There was oversubscription. We knew it was coming, but we hoped, we were wishing, wishful thinking that it would not happen. And then they were oversubscribed. And what normally happens when it's oversubscribed, you get a refund. And when I got my refund, I did not pay back the loan. I put it in something that had a better return, quote unquote. And what happens? The shares start trading and they go very low. The price drops. And I'm wondering, have I made the right decision? And what happens? Guess what? I sell in panic. And I think that was, quite a loss for me. And at that particular moment, I gave up on shares. Now, I'm sure this has really touched a lot of us, and we know ourselves. We quit trading in shares because of such things. We did not have control. And I think it's time that we had that conversation. Now, courtesy of AIB Axis Africa, we have opened a conversation via WhatsApp on the number on your screen. Let's talk about, is it time to revive that portfolio? Is it time that you looked for those shares that you don't even know where they are because you had a CDSC account that went under when you feel like it went under with some of the stockbrokers that went under? Your CDSC account is still there. So it's time we have that conversation about shares. Let's go to this WhatsApp number and chat. Hi, this is Amos Ngao. So this is not the time to judge me. I'm just explaining how one can recover. So one time I'm working in a construction site, I had told you guys earlier, and I used to be paid on Saturday. And the payment per day was 110 shillings. So on Saturdays I had my 660. So I remember one of the Saturdays, we met up with my dad and he was like, I'm rushing somewhere. Do you mind giving me 500 shillings? I'll refund because I'll be paid today. So I obliged and I went, showered, relaxed, and I waited for my money. Only for the guy to come back high as a kite. Yeah. I had earned cash. Remembering I used to, have cement all over my face and hide in the morning because there was my neighbor who had a crash on. And yet, my 500 bob is gone. But months later, I had learned how to service fire extinguishers. So he sent me, that's a business he used to do. So he sent me to his friend's business to service one fire extinguisher and charge 700 bob. Only to get there, and there were 4 more. So in total, there were 5. And after I did my work, I demanded to be paid 700 per fire extinguisher. So if you multiply by 5, that's 3,500. But a certain wisdom told me, please look for change and have a separate 700 on the side, which is what I did. So when I got back home, my dad was very proud. Oh, you've done well. You're a good worker. So give me my 700 shillings. So I gave him 700 shillings and he paid me 200. So he was left with 5 and I was left with 3,000 shillings. It's called payback. Of course, much later we discussed that with my dad and he thought, you guy. So I told him, you paid 6-fold. And I feel like one of the biggest lessons I learned from that, don't judge me. He paid 6-fold. But one of the biggest lessons I feel like why I needed to share this is our ability to be able to recover and, move forward. Because some of us get stuck in business. Some of us, hold so much bile because of someone conned you, you lost money. We were not born with money. So don't get attached. You lose something, you can't recover it, move on. Because at the end of the day, I feel, and I keep saying, our ability to recover and rebuild is actually underrated in today's society. So take time to rebuild. If you have been auctioned, let everything, let it crumble. But it's time. It's time you rebuild. It's time you recovered. That's all for today. Hi guys, Money Gossip here with Amos Ngao. My people in Qatar. Habari zenyu. My people in Qatar. And I had to do a video for you guys, a special video. And for anybody else who's working outside the country on a short-term contract, a year, 2 years, not fully relocated. because the question you guys have been posting is very interesting, but it calls for a lot of balance. Because let's give it to, our culture. If you're traveling abroad, people will contribute from your village. If not people from your village, your family members. For you to get a ticket, to get a visa, or they will hook you up with an appointment, something like that. And the natural thing for people is to feel entitled to anything that happens to you after that. They will say, oh, we helped him, we got him a job, and that is, please, we get used to it. But then there's a bit of whereby now you start getting requests, support this, something happened, you need to send money. And let me tell you something, if we are not careful, you'll go work away from your family, all the sacrifice you've done, and then come back home and see you have nothing. Now, a lot of us have not been able to handle losses very well. So you realize if you've been sending money and nothing is going on, you can actually flip. So the thing is, we need to be very careful, guys. And two things I have for you guys is, number one, we need to have boundaries. Even if you're traveling, reduce expectations of people, including your parents. I know we love our parents so much. If we are sending them money, we need to budget. If I say I'm sending them 5K, 3K, whatever amount of money, let it be budgeted for. Because the other thing is, remember, some of you guys are getting contracts of jobs where everything is catered for. Accommodation, food. So you're basically not spending your money. So you feel like you have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of money. So first of all, set those boundaries. Number two, accumulate by yourself. You talk to Amos right now, I have so many things that I feel I can invest in, both business and investment. And the reason why I don't like answering the question of where do I invest in is because I will give you an idea which I am biased. I'll give you a biased opinion. So the first thing you need to do, if you're thinking of doing business, please accumulate as you gather information over time so that when you come, you have control of that kind of business. If it's investment, please pick companies or even your bank. There are banks that are looking for deposits. Please do your due diligence, accumulate so that when you come back, you have ideas, you have accumulated enough information to get into businesses that you want to. The worst thing that can happen to you is work outside the country for 3-4 years and come back and people are wondering, si alikuwa ameenda ngambo. And that's a very difficult place to be. So my guys in Qatar and those with short-term contracts outside, please, let's adhere to this.
Wondering how to start small in share trading?
Welcome to Money Gossip. It is one thing to have the right information, and it's a whole different ballgame having the right information at the right time. I hear there are guys who even their consignment is yet to arrive. They were importing masks. And it's been a while now since it's no longer compulsory to wear masks. So you can imagine the pain. We feel your pain. And it is very important when you're thinking about investments to have not just the right information, but timely information. When some of us were younger and we were told you can make money in the stock market, we started doing, inquiring here and there, and we filled forms, we opened a trading account. And over time, we felt a bit discouraged because of the time that would take before our orders were executed. It is important for you to understand in the stock market is a game of time. So convenience in terms of having active or having the right instructions executed on time is purely a game of time. And now I would like you to go to your app store and download AIB DigiTrader, the one on the screen. Now with this platform has amazing features. Do you know you get weekly recommendations and daily updates on making, a good decision, an informed decision when it comes to purchasing a stock? And every Thursday, you get a session on Telegram where you can talk to analysts, ask questions about the stock. So you can open this account without any documents, no paperwork. Hi, welcome to Money Gossip. So, the other day I had traveled to Nyahururu, and on my way back, it was around the time that guys get out of school. And I saw it's a high school and it's on the highway. And I saw two girls, they're in high school, so they should be below 18, and they were asking for a lift and seriously asking for it. And I just imagined the danger of that. And they're asking for lift from personal vehicles. You know how risky that is. And then the other day on Gong Road, I see kids, because now they're on holidays. A child, probably 10 or 11, not even courteously knocking at your window. They are coming to peep. They are demanding. And I'm like, what sort of culture are we teaching these children? Have they observed us using survival tactics and they are copying action for action? The danger about what we are doing, the most dangerous thing is it becomes very difficult to get rid of that culture. Because if they are used to, like now the kids are used to begging and knocking on your windows, what happens when they are 18 and you don't? Chances are they will steal. And I was just wondering, what cultures, even if we are desperate, even if we are in harsh economic times, there are things that we should not expose our children to. It is okay for us to tell them, you know what, this is what it is, but do it cautiously. And that raises the question of, what are you doing in these hard economic times? And what are you exposing yourself to? Because once you throw out the caution in the wind, your children are watching. So it's a big challenge to us. Children are adults in small bodies. They reason. They reason like us. And the other day we were walking in a bush somewhere and my sons were behind me. And I was telling them to be careful. But my elder son told me, Daddy, we are okay. We are following on your footsteps. So the money decisions you're making today, your children are watching. And not just the way you spend it, the way you hustle for it. I normally say that if I cannot explain to my guy who's turning 10 this month, if I cannot explain how I make my money, then I have failed. Take time to think about it. What are your children observing? Because it's not what you're teaching them. What are they observing from you? Let me see on your comments. An African proverb that says, the day you choose to walk out naked is the day you meet with your in-laws. This is Amos Ngau. Guys, listen, there was this time I had shared this story that I used to work in a construction site. Not as an engineer, but a manual, I used to do manual work. And what happened, I used to have a crush on a girl that was was our neighbor. And every time I was leaving for work, that's the time she would leave and go to college. So I used to pretend like I am also traveling. So I'd look at the newspaper, wait for her to get to the matatu, and then I would cross over to go to work. And what I used to do is, because of the nature of work, I used to change before I go for lunch, then come back and change back to the clothes for work. So this particular day, I felt like there wasn't much time. So I did not change. So I was all gray because of cement, sweaty. And that particular day, she had left early. So I bumped into her and she waved in like, oh, so you're the same guy. And I never got the guts to talk to her again. And this is what life is all about. You'll get surprises that when you least expect. And April being a financial literacy month, we want to look at a few things that can be able to guide us to select an investment vehicle. And one of the factors is flexibility. Flexibility in terms of you need an investment that you can easily access. Okay. Now I want us to go to Stanchart Shilingi Fund, which you can get by downloading the Stanchart mobile app, and you can be able to open an account. Very easy steps to open the account. In fact, G4S will deliver your debit card. You don't need any paperwork to do that. Now, the beautiful thing about it is that you can save as little as 1,000 shillings. So if you're looking for an investment that is flexible for your little emergencies, you can build on that particular app. And guess what? You can do full withdrawals or partial withdrawals based on your needs. Guys, it's April, Financial Literacy Month. It is time that you became an investor. Hi guys, welcome to Money Gossip. This is Amos Ngahu. So again, back then, a lot of you guys have been laughing at me because of the character development I was given earlier. I have more stories on it because still in the construction site, over the weekend I used to go to church at the nearest town. So I bumped into someone and we became friends, and she was really pretty, and there is a way we just connected. We talked for hours, and as we got to know each other, she realized that I worked in a construction site. And this was you're trying to explain that this is temporary. There's potential in me, I am going places, but unfortunately very few people see potential. So eventually, respectively, she couldn't hack, being in a relationship with me. And I felt so bad because I was just wondering, I wish you'd know my potential. And over time, I realized that I was just attracted to her because she was pretty. And probably she was attracted to me because she thought I was doing something different. And when you're selecting, let's say, an investment, a lot of us have gone and rushed to investments based on their appearance, but not on the actual potential. And this is Financial Literacy Month. I know all of us want to be investors. All of us want to make a difference in our investment. But think about it. Let's go to stocks. If you're talking about stocks, selection of a stockbroker, a very good stockbroker, will determine how effective your trades will be. And one of the things I've discovered about the AIB DigiTrader by AIB Axis is very practical plans that can be able to help you grow your account. Think about it. You're here interacting with analysts on Thursday, and they are giving you options. They are educating you on some of the strategies that they will use to select a stock. Where else do you find a stockbroker that is having a training for newbies, guys who've come in for the first time and they want to train them? So it's important for us to partner with stockbrokers that are there for us, that can be able to give us timely information. So today, give yourself a boost and download the AIB Digital Trader and start learning some of these things. Don't just go for investment because of the appearance. There's more to it, and that's why AIB Axis are able to help you interact with their analyst and for you to get the right information. Hi, welcome to Money Gossip. This is Amos Ngahu. I'm just realizing how seriously we need to take retirement, and especially as men. So men, tafadhali, my brothers, please listen to me. Your lack of preparedness for retirement will hit you harder than it will hit our women. 2 reasons. We have an expensive lifestyle. When women are meeting, they will contribute equally. When men are meeting, it is who can flex the largest muscle and pay the bill. And I have seen men who have retired because they don't have anything to do. They're just waiting for their pension. They just go to the nearest shopping center, they take tea, they gossip, and in the evening they go home. So even if this person was not drinking earlier in life, they will find themselves sipping. And what happens when kids come around to visit you and they notice that you sip alcohol? They will be comfortable giving the mother more money than you as their father. Why? Because they feel like if they give money to their mother, that will be taken care of, food will be taken care of. And that is why we need to really focus on cash flow. For men, please start early. If you're a young man, it's never too early to start teaching yourselves ways of investment that can be able to grow your capital, or even to start looking for passive income. Please take care of your retirement. It's gonna hit hard. And one of the ways that you can employ is learning a skill or two about making money and investing. And that's what I like about, one of the things I like about AIB Axis. What they are doing is that every Thursday you get to interact with analysts that will be able to teach you one or two things about investment. And also newbie classes where guys come in and they are taught how to trade. And can you imagine growing that experience for the next 20-30 years? That means you'll be an expert at retirement. So don't underrate your skill. If anything, add to your skill, and you will have a good retirement plan. Hi, welcome to Money Gossip. This is Amos Gao. Today I'm choosing violence. Have you looked at the budget? Ama uko busy sana ukishafuta mafuta. But on a serious note, forget about the national budget. Do you have a budget? And I know you do. And most of you have it in your heads. It's time that you looked at the next 1 year differently. And we are in April, Financial Literacy Month, where you just evaluate your skill or your resilience when it comes to money. Make a plan, my friend. Let's look at what is influencing you. Are you influenced by your income or by circumstances? Staki Chokozi. See you on 23rd. On our gossip today, money does not stay where it is needed. It stays where it is respected. A simple example. If I give you 300 shillings for lunch today, and you had already taken lunch, and probably you've just been paid, so your account is looking good, chances are that money you will not even remember it. But 2 weeks from now, when you walk into your house and let's say you've run out of tokens and you don't have money on your mobile phone, and I remind you, hey, I was to send you lunch worth 300 shillings and I've sent you, chances are that 300 will look like a miracle because you'll have attached it to a recurrent expense, which is your electricity. So make that normal, normalize that. Every time you get 300, 200, a 50 bob, please load it towards a certain recurrent expense, where it could be your airtime, it could be your electricity, it could be your water bill. Please attach it to that so that you make it count. All right? Because if you don't do that, you will keep paying what we call poverty tax. Poverty tax, let me give you an example. For instance, if I spend 2,000 shillings on airtime, I get about 1,000 minutes worth of airtime across all networks. I get free YouTube, and I get like 2 GB worth of bundles. And that's all I'll spend in a month. But you find someone who says that is too expensive, and they spend about 100 bob per day on airtime. We've not even put in bundles. So in a month, they're spending 3,000. That's an extra 1,000 above me. And that tells you that 1,000 is what we are calling poverty tax. So how you cover that, how you take care of that, is by making every small money count. All of us have received 100, 200 shillings randomly. Please let it go towards a recurrent expense, or even a prepayment of a certain bill, and you'll thank me later. That's Money Gossip for today. Welcome to Money Gossip. two stories that have fascinated me. A lady who's a domestic worker decides to sacrifice a good portion of her salary. In 1 year, she buys a second-hand motorbike at 70,000 shillings. And within 3 years, she has stopped working because per day, she was making 500 bob from those motorbikes. So 1,500 per day. So you can guess how much she's making in a month, which was definitely way above what she was receiving as a domestic worker. And that shows that every year she used to save about 70,000 or 80. Now, the second story is very disappointing. A similar domestic worker, adding almost the same. In 1 year, she saves almost 80 Gs. But what happens? A week before Christmas, she goes to the big market, buys a lot of stock for the family members. And guess what? Come January, she's sending a please call me. If you know, you know. A please call me to the employer. Please send me a bus fare and deduct from January's salary. These are two people who just needed guidance. So the challenge sometimes may not be savings. It's what you want to achieve with those savings. The challenge may not be your lack of knowing what needs to be there. There are 1,000,001 ways of investment, depending on where you are. The challenge is, are you investing with a purpose? Are you investing with a purpose? Just like we looked at the small passive income. And I feel like in my life, I want everything to be paid for passively. I want to have a small investment somewhere that is just taking care of my fuel. I want a small investment somewhere that is taking care of my lifestyle when I'm retired. If you're a lady, my goodness, you should be glowing after retirement because you have a lifestyle that is sustainable. And remember, that's what we discussed last time. Before we talk about investments with a purpose, what is the mindset behind it? That's your gossip for today.